Yo, what is going on, everybody? I am Lost Soul Gaming Man, and we're going to talk about UFC 229, folks. Uh, Great fights. It was a great card, and all the rubbish and everything to the side, man. First off, we're going to talk about the fight with Derek Lewis and Alexander. I was really hoping Alexander would have got that push up. But in the third round, 449, that means there was 11 seconds left of this fight, and Derek Lewis does what he does, man. He got the final knockout. He did his talking with his hands. In my opinion, though, I was really hoping Alexander would get pushed ahead because I think he's a better all-around fighter. I also believe he is in better shape for the heavyweight fights. Derek Lewis, he's a beast. You know what I mean? He's got knockout power. But in my opinion, man, he gets too tired. Too tired to be in the main head fights. He needs a better training or whatever it is. He needs more cardio. For sure, to be in the big fights, you know, especially a 5-rounder. He was tired, and this was only a 3-round fight. You know what I mean? He was tired, and I wasn't impressed. He did get the knockout, but the whole fight, I believe it was something like, you know, he was getting doubled in significant strikes until right there to the end where he landed on the sweet spot. He gave him some of that sweet chin music, folks. And it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? Everybody's got a puncher's chance. So, great night of fights, though. The next fight we're going to talk about is OSP and Dominic Reyes. Dominic is 10-0. You know, OSP, he's a young dude. You know what I mean? He's young up and comer. He hasn't had that many fights, but man, he looked good. And OSP is somebody that people may overlook, but you know, I will remind you this, and this is all you need to know. OSP went 5 rounds with John Jones. 5 rounds, folks, with John Jones. That is no easy task right there. He competed with John Jones. He lost the fight, but he competed with John Jones for 5 rounds. So Dominic being able to get a decision on him was it was an interesting fight. It was a good fight. I enjoyed that fight. I even watched it back again afterwards. Now the next fight is Anthony Pettis with Tony Ferguson. I called this for some reason, man. I even called the round on this one. Tony Ferguson is. I would have loved to see Tony go against Conor. That's how much I like Tony. I believe just Tony, man, is underrated. He's looked past a lot. Now, yeah, he is a weird dude, man. You know what I mean? Dude came off of a knee surgery 6 months ago, and most fighters and stuff, they go through like a rehab and stuff like that. Not him, man. He is crazy as hell. He went home and rehabbed himself. I don't know if y'all watch Joe Rogan Pod Experience, but he has his coach on there all the time, and they talk about his training and stuff like that, man. And his training is a lot different than a lot of people, where he goes worst situations. That's what he trains first, and he deals with it. And then he goes off into his own like weird training type shit, man. He uses some kung fu thing, you know what I mean? I don't know if y'all watch the clips and stuff. He is just a weird fighter. But He is a beast, and that's who I would have liked to see fight Conor. Now, would he have beat Conor? Does he have the chin for Conor? That's still to be determined. We'll see. That was one of probably the best fight that I seen last night. Besides Anthony Pettis' younger brother fought on that card on the prelims, which was a great fight as well. But now let's get to the main event. KHABIB versus Conor. You can go back to my previous video, folks. I called this fight. I didn't think it would go to round 4, but it did. But just like I said, Conor would get worked. He would get tired. If he didn't knock him out in the first round early or the second round early, I thought this fight went the same way I thought it would, folks. Conor got worked. KHABIB, handled him how he wanted to handle him. You know what I mean? He took him down. He only stuffed, like, I think 2. Don't quote me on the numbers. I think 2 to maybe 3 times he stopped him from taking him down. Other than that, KHABIB did what he wanted. Took him down, held him down, beat him up a little bit. There was a lot of boos in the crowd, man. And I don't understand. I understand that there was a lot of Conor fans there, okay? But this is this is MMA, folks. This ain't boxing. This is MMA, which is mixed martial arts. So you cannot sit there and boo just because people ain't standing there banging it out. Those are the great fights, you know what I mean, when people were standing there banging it out, you know what I mean, just throwing and throwing and throwing. But on the other hand, we got to understand that the mixed martial arts part of this is wrestling, jiu-jitsu, ground control. Therefore, somebody like KHABIB is super dangerous. He controls people on the ground like nobody else. He puts them in positions that he wants them in. And a lot of wrestlers and stuff like that, they wrestle with their arms. KHABIB controls you with his legs and then does damage with his hands. Where most guys will wrestle you with their arms and stuff like that and barely do any ground and pound and stuff like that. KHABIB takes you, controls you with his legs, and then picks you apart with his hands. And let's not look past, okay? Conor never rocked him, but KHABIB rocked him. KHABIB rocked him 2 times on the feet. And that right there said a lot for KHABIB as a fighter. Now, will this fight have a rematch? Probably will. And just for this reason. Ticket sales. The ticket sales for that would be phenomenal. It would be mind-blowing again to have these 2 guys fight again. This was one of the biggest ticket sales for pay-per-view and everything else. Now, that's going to roll into the next segment of what I'm going to talk about, man. I've seen on Twitter with a lot of these guys, Tommy Toehold, Flying J, all these MMA talks and everything. And the thing was, they said KHABIB ruined his win. It was a how did they say it? Disgusting look on the UFC as an organization. It was Dana White was pissed. It was just a bad look for the UFC. It was a horrible decisions for the UFC and everything else. Now, what took place after this fight, that was not MMA. That was personal, okay? What everybody fails to realize, okay, is this beef between these two have been going back for a while. Even before the bus incident. Khabib has been looking for Conor, looking for Conor, and looking for Conor. Conor's always went to the more money fights, the more, where he can get money. And that's what Conor is, man. Conor's not a bad fighter at all, okay? But Conor is a great businessman where he picks his fights to make his money. And Conor makes a lot of money for the UFC. And that's why he is able to get away with what he does. Let's be honest, folks, okay? If that busted incident happened with any other fighter, okay, he would be out of the UFC. He wouldn't even be looked upon. I want to take y'all back, man. There was a fighter who punched a guy after the fight was over. That fighter was banned from the UFC, kicked out, never to return. Conor McGregor took a dolly, threw it to a window, put glass in people's face, ruined a fight card because 2 of the fighters did not fight that night, so they've dropped 2 fights from that thing. If that would have been anybody else, folks, I want y'all to understand this. He would no longer be a MMA fighter. He would no longer be with the UFC. Well, he may be an MMA fighter, but definitely not with UFC. But because he's Conor McGregor and he sells so many tickets, they overlook that stuff. Now everybody's saying Khabib should be stripped of his title. Bullshit. Everybody's saying Khabib should definitely be fined all of his fight money. Bullshit. Bullshit, okay? This man went after Conor's jiu-jitsu coach, who he's been beefing with for a while, okay? This went back, this man Conor done talked about this man's family. He done talked about this man's coach's family. He done drugged this man through the mud with his country, with his politics, everything else. So there was some emotions there. Did Khabib let his emotions get the best of him? Absolutely. Absolutely. And he went outside the ring and got in an altercation with Conor's people out there. Started fighting with one of them and ended up fighting with like 2 or 3 of them, I believe. And then they got separated. Now, what was a disgrace? Okay, and what I think and what I believe will happen is Conor's training partners and stuff like that was out there on his ringside. I believe they should be banned from the UFC. Jumping in the ring and attacking Conor from behind was bullshit, and it was a pussy move. Y'all just want to fight. You know what I mean? Conor was already beat up, tired, everything else, and then y'all jump in the ring, 2 of y'all, and attack this man from behind. That's pussy shit. They should be fined. Not only should they be fined, but then banned from the UFC. And I believe that will happen. I believe they'll be fined and banned from the UFC, never to return to any events. And if I'm not mistaken, one of those guys is a fighter and has a fight coming up at either 230 or 231, something like that. I'm not positive on that, so don't quote me, because I'm not sure who that was that jumped in the ring. One of his guys, though, does have a fight coming up, and I'm almost certain that was one of them. Was this a black eye, on the UFC? Absolutely. It made the fighters look like they have animal instincts, or whatever. But was it worse than what Conor did? By attacking a bus with women and other innocent people on it, putting glass in people's face? Absolutely not. So now, should Khabib be banned from the UFC? Absolutely fucking not. And if you say he should, you're a fucking idiot, okay? In my opinion. I lost a lot of respect for Tommy Toho and some of those guys last night whenever their tweets went out after this happened about how Khabib ruined the fights and everything else. That's just my opinion, though. But yeah, he just, to me, he let his emotions take over. But I don't believe it was, worse than what Conor did. Me and my daughter sat here and watched the fights. She was a big Conor fan. I'm a big Conor fan too. But wrong is wrong and right is right. And as long as the person doing the act like that is making money like Conor does, he won't be stopped. You know what I mean? And he'll do whatever he wants to do, however he wants to do it. And those are just the facts, man. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If y'all did, man, drop a thumbs up on the video, man. And I will catch y'all on my next video. Peace out.